Welcome to match number 9 of FML season 33. This is Hightech and I have Rulers with me. And finally we made it into a game after 2 disconnects. Or desyncs, I guess it was, right?
Yeah, I haven't followed the starting positions, but they seem quite balanced at the moment.
I think much better than I haven't really followed the starting position of the second time we hosted, but I think this one's better than the first attempt that we had. And yeah, we have an interesting game coming up, I hope, or I think, at least the potential is there. We have zTsoso, old Danish human legend, in the top left, who certainly might be a bit rusty, but whenever he started to play again for at least a couple of games, his FFA sense is still very, very solid, but I guess micro-wise and meta-wise he might be a bit rusty. So we will see, especially since he's spawning next to Qwest, who I don't think will ever stop playing FFA. Undead player and strategical genius, I would say. Usually likes to win with a lot of manap and being the last on 100 supply, and not afraid of hiding gold or units. And then we have Seksi, surprisingly, with Orc. Haven't seen him picking Orc too often. But yeah, he's also quite active these days again, I feel. And I would say certainly maybe the strongest, or if not the second strongest player with Qwest here. And then last but not least we have Jaod, who is playing human. I have never seen him play human, but we'll see. It's an interesting game for sure. What do you think?
Are under attack.
Yeah, I think Qwest, like I observed a lot of FFA games over Flow TV, and to me it seems like Qwest is just playing super aggressive, winning every fight, just tearing everyone apart. So I think maybe he improved a lot on his micro, but it doesn't seem like he's doing like we saw last season in the game with Side, where he's just selling his whole base and then trying to win it the way you mentioned. But yeah, I'm curious if it depends on the players he's in with. So we will see.
May also depend a bit on the event. I mean, if it's ladder, you don't really have much to lose, and he's a good player. His micro is decent, but I still think, like, usually he tries to get some levels early, but then like mid game he usually tries to preserve a lot of gold, and he's the best in mining efficiently and getting all the mines, like similar to Gradient, who is also never mining or trying to not mine on like 60, 70, 80 supply, but always trying to be on 50. And it's the same with Qwest. And then like I think because there are some, like, the stakes are a bit higher here, we will certainly see him see him trying to play it more safely, but we'll see. I need to check if the volume is okay.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, what I really like about Qwest is that he is using so many consumables.
Yeah.
Like he has always the mana pots on the Dreadnought, which is pretty standard. The heal scrolls also very standard, but then he also likes to buy the healing wards from the marketplace, as well as the scroll of the beast, to always get an edge over the other players in the fights.
Yeah,
that's really good to see.
Yeah, for sure. Very, very solid playstyle.
Players' forces are under attack.
I think these starting positions are always very interesting when two players are not really surrounded but fight for their second or third mine, like it is here. I mean, on Ferocity it's a little bit more extreme because it's already fighting for the second base. Here I'm not too sure what will happen. Maybe both will take just 2 bases and then attack out of the surround, which I think would be standard here on this map.
Yeah, it's such an interesting... Oh, the Blade Master is actually here. So close. It's always an interesting trade-off here, I think. Like, of course, being the orange player here, it's natural to go for this 1 second, right? But it's so valuable to have this one here as your second expansion, because it's the only expo that is like the only natural expo that is really far away from anyone else. So I think there's a lot of value in having the only non-neighboring expansion here. So depends. I mean, with these spawns, I guess it will be up to Seksi to move across map anyways, unless he wants to play on one expo, which I doubt. But yeah, we'll see. And we see the first shredder here for Jaod, and second one for Seksi. So everyone getting a shredder, of course, not an issue here with just 4 players on this map and those spawns. Everyone should be able to get a shredder quickly.
Yes, zTsoso already has a shredder too. Only Qwest doesn't have one yet, but I think for Undead it's not that important in the early game.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
and it feels like, I'm not sure, is it me or is Qwest's build getting a little bit more safe? Or is it exactly the same as in the last finals where he got rushed out by Eshan?
I haven't followed the first 2 minutes, but might be a bit, but maybe it's because of the map.
Yeah, I was just seeing that his tier 3 is pretty much at the same progress as the human Jaod. I mean, Jaod an extremely fast tier 3 for a human player. That's also worth mentioning, I guess.
I mean, those players could adjust to like the enemies they are facing, and none of them are known to go for crazy rushes in a game like this, I think. I guess I mean some of them sometimes do. Like I saw Qwest rushing before in some situations, and I think zTsoso also rushed sometimes, but I'm not sure if I've ever seen them doing that in FML matches. So yeah, we'll see. I feel my mic might be a bit low, but I'm not sure. We'll see. So if anyone is watching, please let us know in chat if the sound is okay.
Yeah, and Seksi now taking the high valuable mine you mentioned before.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. And that's the advantage of these spawns here, that you have that option. Like I think it's much more tricky if zTsoso would have spawned one position farther north. I think it would have been much more difficult for Seksi to get that potentially, or to find it if zTsoso would have gone for the second one there.
zTsoso with the Tinker second, interesting. Personally, I don't like Tinker second as human.
I'm not sure if Noex tried to, like when the Tinker got buffed some years ago, Noex tried to play it a couple of times, but never really played a lot. And I don't know. I guess simply because there are better options here. Like I guess Panda is just more versatile. And
yeah, exactly. It's not that a Tinker is a bad hero. It's just like the alternatives all seem a little bit better.
And also that you can't heal your Tinker with the Paladin, I guess, in Robo form is a bit annoying.
Yeah.
But I guess against Undead here, or why not? And against another human, could be a pretty solid option.
I mean, he definitely thought about it.
Yeah, for sure.
He has his reasons for sure.
And we see an early red spot here by Jaod, but it's a bit risky here. All foot is dying, Panda a bit low.
I mean, the foot is dying is intentional, and
I think should be able to get it.
He could have gripped it way better, like more efficient with pulling.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a bit close here because he has not that much mana. He will get another water elemental in a bit, but this will take more time than it should.
Yeah.
Okay. He's taking way too much damage here.
Paladin in.
Yeah, I didn't see the Paladin. All good. All fine.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake by Jaod on not bringing any items with the Paladin. Like, I really like having definitely the Orb and the Staff, because the
Player's
cooldown
forces are under attack.
is quite high, and you always want to have 3 staffs at least. Small
Yeah.
things. Yeah, as a human player, it's always pretty interesting what builds you're going first. Like, we see zTsoso with 2 Sanctums and 2 Workshops. Noix prefers to go 2 Sanctums and 2 Griffin Aviaries. And Jaod is going for 1 Sanctum, 1 Workshop, and 3 Aviaries. So yeah, all
Yeah, I
small
think
differences.
for a player like Jaod, there's not that, I would say that's not that experienced in playing human. I guess it's just the safer bet, especially against Orc, if you try to go for like a Griffin push, and especially if you I'm not sure if he's going to do that, but if you go for like an inner fire Griffin push, it's so deadly for against Orcs, because bets are just not efficient.
Forces are under attack.
You as an Orc, you really rely on your hero damage in that situation, and yeah, I mean the Blade Master is pretty stacked, but also pretty squishy still, and Shadow Hunter level 1 will not stand a chance against that kind of stuff. But oh, we see a creep check here by Qwest, and that was very greedy by Seksi, starting that creep camp right in front of Qwest. I would say I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah, interesting. It's always an interesting decision whether you go for the creep check or not, because it can determine your first opponent.
Yeah, for sure. So I think in that situation, you saw Qwest hesitating for like a second. I think he was thinking about it, but eventually, I think it's not a bad call for Qwest to fight Seksi, I guess. I think he feels, I guess, like being in his position, I would probably feel more confident against the Orc here than against zTsoso, having the entire north here.
I mean, everyone has 3 expansions, so it's all balanced at the moment.
Yeah, expo wise it is, but still, I think like if you, I mean, it's always a bit more tricky as undead to hit like a cross map Orc expo, but I guess if you send like a ghoul or 2, you can really hit the Orc harder than you can hit like the human here. That can defend more easily. And yeah, we see zTsoso staying on 50 supply, Qwest 2 as expected, Seksi also still 50, and Jaod is pumping now, Griffins as expected, and I'm pretty sure he will attack Seksi.
Yeah, it's interesting. No one announced that he's fighting. Like, Qwest didn't say he's against Seksi, and the other way as well. So
yeah,
it's still everything open. And for Jaod, it's, I think, natural to attack Seksi.
I guess both are so experienced that they, like Seksi and Qwest both know that like this one creep check will ultimately not, like they will not like change their entire game plans just because they have been creep checked, and Seksi was forced to TP, so I don't think he will actually change his mind. But he now sees with this Blade Master here in the bottom right, he now sees Jaod approaching, and I think this could be a very tricky.
It's a very strong push. It's a very, very strong push here.
And there's
Wand of Illusion as well.
And there's no lumber for bets. Look at the Shredder. I think he's probably he hasn't microed the Shredder well, and also the upgrades for like the Spirit Walkers I think are tricky timing and very nice use of Scroll of Illusion here.
Yeah, totally.
Wand of Illusion. And yeah, that's 6 Griffins plus 3 Illusions. I don't see him surviving this.
Yeah, he has 2-0 upgrades.
Yeah, he definitely has to give up his main base, I feel. He will be supply blocked in a second. And interesting decision to pump. I guess Wyverns are better now, where like knowing that he can't get enough bets to kill anything here.
Yeah,
nice, nice display though. a nice dispel though.
Yeah, one more dispel and the priests are out of mana.
And now illusions are gone at least. But still tricky and surprised. He's just trying to win time and join forces here. Maybe he can defend it. I mean, his army is bigger than I thought first.
Yeah, it's 84 now, but
Yeah.
still a little... Oh,
That's a lot of griffins, and he's not using enough fire on those now. He is on the ones that are being attacked.
yeah, and I was going to say that I'm missing spell breakers. Like, instead of the 2 rifles, I would like to see two breakers. But he
nice
only has
healing
1 sanctum.
Very nice healing ward, like not being cancelled here. The healing ward
Yeah,
is too,
you always have to cancel the healing once this.
yeah. And it's only one, like you could easily cancel it.
Yeah.
Shadow Hunter, only level 2 here. Using the heal potion.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is a very nice defense by Seksi. I don't know where he hit all the units, but that was like just in time. I didn't see him defending this really well by Seksi. And now the human has a very hard time to gather forces again. That was a really nice defense. Really impressed. Like I totally didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it was very well executed for sure.
Yeah. Where I guess it was like the torrents were in production, I guess, and maybe I missed that, but all of a sudden he had like 84 supply and he seemed
Yeah,
to-
he had full production at one point. Like he had 2 Wyverns
Yeah.
and 2 Doctors and 2 Tauren and Headhunters
yeah, maybe
together with the 50 supply.
yeah, maybe Jaod should have, instead of focusing the buildings here, maybe he should have chased like the units that he saw. Maybe that would have helped, but tricky.
Now Seksi has 4 walkers. That's a little bit too much, but yeah, I mean, if you are under attack, you just try to produce what you can.
Blade Master wreaking havoc here in the northeast, killing.
Yeah, that's the most important as a human player,
But
having the
I-
Blade Master in your echo.
Should he have gotten like a staff? Like he's quite far away here.
Yeah,
Or-
it's
so
true.
maybe he's actually was confident to defend this without the Blade Master, which he very well might be able to.
Yeah, we saw he can buy a lot of time and he might not even need to.
Yeah, but still, I would be super scared with my first hero like cross map without a staff. Okay, he's getting one now, I guess. Isn't he? No, he isn't.
Yeah, he's easy.
That's so greedy. Like with 4k gold, like why not? If you have one item slot, why not spend like 150 for a damn staff? It's like it's so much flexibility.
Okay, I'm way louder, Ponty
Yeah,
says,
yeah,
so I
yeah,
will
just-
move my microphone a little bit back.
A player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, you don't have to. I can.
Okay.
Yeah, I can try to fix it on my side, I guess. But for some reason, my mic is way. It's not as loud as I think it is. Check.
Test, hello?
Yeah, I think it should be fine, but who knows? It's like super stupid with 50-minute delay as usual.
Yeah,
It's
it's
such a pain.
not too nice, yeah. Okay, so Jaod gearing up again, but only 4 free heroes. I'm not sure if he has reskill to Blizzard. No, he hasn't. And I don't think without Blizzard you can fight this.
A player's forces are under attack.
Yeah, this is at this stage, I think. Blade Master.
Yeah, he has to take over the wards and he doesn't again. So, yeah, the healing wards is
And that's
the
level
most
6
important
of the
thing.
game. I mean, this fight arguably looks a lot better than the previous one, but still.
Yeah, where are the Wyverns? I don't see them.
Yeah. And Shadow still walks out of mana, so can't really dispel inner fire anymore. So I'm a bit surprised that he's not pulling back.
Yep.
But I guess, like, as long as you have some mana on the SH and the Blade Master is still full HP, like, why not kill a few more units? Especially if you're not up against the Blade Master, against an MK.
Yeah.
He has 2 TPs, maybe she... Yeah, okay, you gave one to the SH and...
Yeah, these moves are also very nice, always.
Wow, and the Archmage dying here. He's getting so much XP here.
Yep.
And the
Ooh,
SH,
but the
I think
SH.
that was unnecessary.
Level 5 Panda could turn things around though.
But no mana at all, so I think it...
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure why he's staying here, like, it's...
And we have another fight Qwest here.
Oh,
Was it
yes.
so?
Wow, long time since I've seen Dragonhawks being used efficiently. Usually no one plays Dragonhawks anymore these days, I feel, because like Tinker is played so often and it... Yeah.
A player's force is
I think it's very important against Undead because otherwise you have nothing against the kiting.
Yeah, and it's so deadly to face Dragonhawks and tanks.
And yeah, Qwest is on 100 and zTsoso not quite there yet and also lacking a bit of lumber. Let's see what army comp he's going for.
Yeah, it's also supply blocked on 84, so a bit of a mistake here by him to not prepare a few more farms. And I
Yeah,
think
it happens to me all the time as well.
And he's not building more farms, is he? I think he definitely should do that instantly.
Yeah,
like
he isn't.
He has 11k gold, 300 lumber, and is supply blocked, and instead he's building another workshop. So,
under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
Oh, now he's getting another farmer. This could be very costly here for him.
Yeah, I think he's going for the counter attack.
Yeah, probably the right call here. He can't fight Qwest on open field yet, I guess.
And also he's 80 versus 100, so he's mining a little bit more. So delaying time is good for him.
Yeah, wise call.
But he's losing expos.
Yeah, wise call here by him to... I mean, to stay on 80 now until he has the farms to go to 100, which he will have in like 20 seconds. Then he can pump up. But he's moving so slowly. I think he should split like 1 or 2 tanks maybe.
Yeah, it's always very easy from an observer perspective, but yeah, that's definitely the way to go.
Yeah, for sure.
And Shredder is also dead. That's also very annoying.
There comes the TP and...
Yeah, let's see the micro.
Yeah, I don't... he's dealing a lot of damage here. Nice healing ward by Qwest instantly.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's running through. Yeah, this healing ward is so dangerous. And
yeah, it's so hard to click on the healing wards. So much air. And without a breaker.
Yeah, level 5 Dreadlord is so annoying to deal with. And yeah, very well placed heal ward.
Yeah. As I've said, it has been a long time since I have seen Qwest losing a fight. So sick.
He's strong for sure. So we'll see. Like if I mean, Jaod seems. I mean, he has 2k gold still, but I think Seksi very smartly is not trying to kill him quickly here, but is trying to just. I mean, he sees that he can get a lot of XP here. I think it's great for Seksi to have Qwest continuing, Jaod continuing to build griffins. Needs to be, I guess, needs to make sure he's taking the right fights, but then there's so much XP that he can get on his heroes. He's already 6-5, 6-5-4. And we see another attack here by Qwest into the main base of zTsoso, who still has no, like, he should do something against his lumber. Like, what's he... Oh, a new Shredder was bored and he's... Okay, this is...
Yeah, as I've said before, as soon as the Shredder dies, I know that he will have so much wood problems.
Yeah, it's super hard. And also with with the way he built his town hall here, for example, it's quite far away. Like, it's not the best way, I would say, to...
And it's so hard to maintain the Shredder now versus Undead. So annoying, this Expo Harris. But he's doing it the right way.
Yeah, he's leaving all the tanks.
Yeah.
And I think most of them...
I mean, they are here.
Yeah.
Also nicely split up some.
Yeah, that was a good split. But let's see. I think at least.
I mean, it's only 195 gold per tank,
Yeah,
so that's
you're
fine.
right. Like
it's not even 2 gyros.
I personally, like being an elf player myself, I absolutely hate it to have like even 1 or 2 tanks somewhere, like at an expo, at a main, because it's like even if it only takes like 2 AOWs to kill it, but it's so much distraction and it's so easy to like to not realize in time when you're fighting, and then all of a sudden like half of your main base is gone.
Yeah, I think zTsoso has no chance here anymore with 4 for 2 heroes versus Qwest.
Yeah,
it's already over.
So let's see. I mean, Jaod is now all of a sudden with this creep squad and his 98 supply. I think he's he's definitely not dead. And interestingly, that Seksi is pumping up to 100 supply with bats now. So I think he seems to be willing to take another fight quickly here. And I guess he wants to defend his expo, so it makes sense. But ideally, I guess he doesn't want to go to 100 now. He has... Yeah. Maybe he does. He has the gold, he has the lumber, so... We'll see.
Yeah, zTsoso is doing the only thing he can do, being annoying with tanks and terrors everywhere. That's very nice by him.
And Qwest will use that to his advantage by like managing everyone into thinking that he lost like, all of
the big 100 versus 100 though.
Yeah. Nice split here of those griffins. That was
very well done.
This was
wow.
Yeah, he needs a TP out, doesn't he? I don't think he can fight it.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything he can get now,
That was... Yeah, that's... Bats against Inner Fire Griffins are like really, really hard to pull off.
Yeah, you have to dispel the Inner Fire and then go in with the bats.
Yeah, and only if they are not split, like they were split.
They were, yeah, exactly.
And it's impossible to use bats efficiently. So you can only go for mass wyverns in that case. So maybe you should have gotten a few more wyverns, but it's so hard to, like, so easy to just add a few bats and hope that you can use them efficiently.
Yeah, I mean the panda is so strong versus the wyvern as well. Yeah. The drunken haze is so strong.
Oh, and we see a TP here by zTsoso back in his main base, right into
Qwest. But a lot of gyros now. I think it's good for him here.
Stoneform darks here, and that leaves all the other air units exposed. And this could be, well, not mass TP yet, I guess, but...
Yeah, that's the best fight he could have hoped for.
Yeah, but Red Lord's still full mana, and those gyros are all good.
Yeah, now the gyros have to go away as soon as possible, no?
Yeah.
51 supply versus 45 supply, so yeah, both lost a lot here. Still, I think it was better for zTsoso, given that his heroes were lower.
Yeah, maybe you're right.
Like, I think a 100 supply gyro army is way more expensive.
Yeah, but if Dreadlord gets level 6 here, I still don't see zTsoso staying in his main base here.
Yeah, and this is now where he's bleeding.
Yeah, like one more kill here on a gyro and...
Yeah, the Tinker here is also doing nothing in the hero arena.
And that's level... Oh, nice...
Yeah, that's always the problem with Tinker or Panda or Alchemist second. As soon as the supplier gets lower, it's very tough to fight.
Oh, interesting. They are piecing.
Yeah, and because Qwest is 50.
Yeah.
And mean, not too much gold.
I guess.
Yeah, sure.
Almost. I mean, zTsoso needs to get rid of a unit here, I guess, some gyros. And yes, Seksi, what a turnaround here. All of a sudden he's supply blocked on 72 down to 1 expo, and Jaod is like on 100 supply for an eternity now, but he's in a... Is he in a great spot?
Ooh, the paladin dies. Yeah. It's versus Orc, always divine shield. That's so important.
Yeah, that was
always divine shield before the fight.
Careless loss, and that's certainly winning Seksi some time here.
Yeah, and Seksi is the supply lead. I did the gold lead, sorry.
That's so expensive to tavern at this stage.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, Qwest, it's perfectly fine to offer peace because he can now camp on 50. He has 665 heroes. and 4 mines running.
But I'm always undecided if it's. Yeah, I guess it's not the worst call, but on the other hand, yeah, I guess
I
you're
think
right.
once you have 6 heroes, it's definitely important to get gold over more levels.
It's so juicy to break out here into the northwest and not be basically surrounded here by Seksi and zTsoso. And also not face mass TP, I think. So I'm not sure. I think in his position I would have decided whether to finish zTsoso, but yeah.
He dispels the drunken haste. It's nice. Also, a lot of people forget this.
I like this. Like, I like that Jaod is declining the war here. I mean, he has all the expos here in the northeast, so he...
Yeah, and he's 95 supplies, so he has to...
Yeah, and 95 supplies, so he definitely got more to teach right now. But what's he doing with his paladin? That's...
Yeah, it's...
not good.
It goes down so fast.
I mean, he still has... Yeah, the upper hand here. But he might...
Yeah, but once the paladin is down, it's unwinnable versus these heroes.
But still, yeah, I mean, he... Ooh! Blade Master needs to TP out at the TC. Wow.
Ah, nice.
Wow.
Ooh, the Shadow Hunter.
What's happening here? And now zTsoso is moving in. and that's now a very unfortunate situation for Jaod, like having lost, like being almost out of gold, trying to get all these expos, but still being on 90 supply, so he really wants Seksi out, or he's at risk of getting attacked by some of the others. I mean, probably not. The others, like Qwest, will not attack Jaod here. He will only man up and maybe take an expo, but...
Yeah, this could become a quite long game, now that Qwest and zTsoso are hoarding.
Yeah, on the other hand, I think they at least took some fights, and I usually like... I think it's better from an observer perspective sometimes to have a bit of hoarding early on, at least see fighting on one side of the map, and then all the expos are gone, and then usually, like, I don't think neither zTsoso nor Seksi have an interest to sit here. So I think it's really only Qwest who is willing to spend 3 hours sitting. So let's see. We see another fight here, or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure why he's moving out with the high upkeep.
Yeah, could have definitely stayed in, but like, I guess he doesn't want to fight.
Yeah, he doesn't have his paladin back,
yeah,
so
exactly.
That's the reason.
And the panda also. Oh, the panda's back. Yeah, he should get some, like,
a player's forces are
should get some more pirates, I guess.
Yeah, he is officially out of gold.
Yeah, entirely. And that's so risky to have that many mines and being perceived as like a very strong player who utilizes this advantage here in terms of gold, but being like out of gold and with the back against the wall almost.
It's so sick. Look how much gold Qwest still has in his mine. Like it's 9k, 8k, 8k, and all on 50.
And there goes the paladin again. Like Seksi is only farming at this point almost. Maybe you should drop to 80 supply, but I guess we'll do this now. And there goes the
Yeah, that's the most important thing versus orc.
Yeah,
keep your paladin alive.
Divine shield.
Yeah. Because then human has an advantage over orc, I think. But as soon as your paladin dies, everything snowballs.
What a demolition of human heroes here, and yeah, Jaod can't even revive them or Tavern them, so I think he's...
Yeah, that's so much XP.
So let's see if Seksi is going to get managed against because of his hero levels, or Jaod because he has all the expansions.
True, yeah.
Now Jaod is asking for peace. Ooh, interesting. And Qwest is going for another attack here, at least a harass, which find he's going back up to 100. I find that an interesting call here. I would have expected him
zTsoso
to...
is still out of lumber. That's so bad.
Yeah, for sure.
And he lost the shredder just 10 seconds ago again.
Yeah, I guess maybe you should have gotten a second shredder, or I don't know.
Yeah, he's in such a tough spot because he has to break 15. But yeah, what should he do without lumber?
Yeah, he needs level 6 Archmage and level 6 Tinker. I guess then he has a chance, but without it, I don't see him. Yeah, I don't see him surviving this for long.
Exactly.
Really interesting game so far.
Yeah, I like it too.
Now the player's forces are under attack.
Death and Decay here. Such a cool looking spell.
Yeah, still quite some time for level 6 Archmage. Wow, even meat wagons.
Yeah, Qwest likes to get some of them, but they will not live for long, I guess.
Yeah, that's an interesting way to use that.
And zTsoso is farming a lot of XP here just by killing like some Nerubian towers and some acolytes. If he should maybe try to get the shredder here with just his Archmage in range. Like that would take him to, I don't know how much. I think it would take him to above 1,900.
He has rockets and factory. Is this standard?
Rocket and what?
And a factory.
I mean, I sometimes, if I'm too lazy to get like I'm too lazy to reskill, I still have like the pocket factory from creeping, but usually like I think it's better to reskill to just rockets and passive.
Yeah, the castle shall not be lost, and yeah, that's why he has to TP now.
He has a lot of units, so I think he 74 supply against 90. I think he has some units, but I don't see him.
Yeah, the tanks are in a bad position.
At least he's using his Divine Shield, and he's pushing Qwest back potentially here.
The Dragonhawks, they are so vulnerable, they always have to move behind the tanks.
Yeah.
It's very hard to micro.
And we have another fight in the main base of Jaod here. Oh, basically Jaod losing his main base.
Yeah.
Yeah, Qwest is clearly winning this fight here. Can't really break the human base easily because of the towers, but it's only a matter of time. Oh, and the Tinker is getting down. It's going down, so this is nice back and forth, and there goes the Paladin. So zTsoso might be, I mean, we will see, but might be close to leaving, potentially. I think he should stay. I think there's a good chance that someone will help him or that he can survive here. Simply because they, you know, potion of healing on the ground here in zTsoso's members. Is that bait? Oh, the Blade Master! Pick it up! Why is he picking it up? Wow, he's helping zTsoso. I'm not sure why he would do that.
Yeah, I'm also not too sure.
He's only putting a target on his back by doing so, and might even lose a hero in return if he's not careful. He doesn't have many consumables.
Maybe he wants to prolong the four-way a little bit so he can gather more gold, because as soon as it's a freeway, it looks like as if Seksi is the only one mining 3 bases.
Maybe, yeah. But I think it would have been the better call for Seksi to allow zTsoso's defeat and then play the weak. I mean, maybe you can't with those hero levels, but
Yeah, exactly. That's the problem. Like, he has the
yeah.
most gold and the highest heroes in their perspective. So.
Yeah, for sure. And he regained those expos at the top right and forced Jaod into piecing. So tough situation, I would say, for almost anyone but Qwest here who can just freely roam around and manage. So I think Qwest is in a great position here.
Yeah.
Even with inferior hero levels.
Town is under siege. A
Ah,
player's
so
forces
using the
are
same
under attack.
hotkeys as me. I've seen
Must
it
be
before.
a Scandinavian thing.
No, it's the inventory for every letter next to
Yeah,
it.
I know, but I feel it's mostly Scandinavians who, like Janker does it too, like who has his other keyboard, who has the rest of his keyboard reprogrammed to use the inventory.
Town is under siege. A
Level
player's
6 Archmage at least, so maybe this helps him to buy some more time.
He's
Or
killing
force a
one
piece.
extra here. Oh, and the Blade Master here using Blade Storm on this expo, so everyone's on Qwest here. Interesting, very interesting. And also, yeah, what's Jaod doing? Is he also moving in? Are they really teaming him 3v1 right now? Would not make a lot of sense in my eyes. Like especially like in Jaod's position, being like the underdog here with, I mean, look at, he has no tech, so he has nothing. Why is he 68 supply and not 50 and trying to get some gold back here? I don't know why
Yeah,
what's
AFP's tried Seksi on him.
yeah, why would Jaod try to attack Qwest here and try to help? Like, he wants to stay under the radar at all costs.
Yeah, I mean, he says it's just scout.
Nah. Yeah, now Seksi nicely on 50
is under
supply. I mean,
siege.
I guess he was for some time. He's nicely just sitting and... I mean, what's he? No, he wasn't on 50. He
player's
just lost
forces
his
are under
wyverns
attack.
and now he dropped to 50. So maybe not a bad call. He showed his 80 supply and then he dropped to 50 right after. And now he's mining on 50 and has three mines.
Yeah, great move.
2 mines. I would always get rid of those 30 gold in my main mine. Like, it's perfect, a perfect opportunity for manip if someone sees it.
Yeah.
And the Archmage might die here.
Is there no main anymore? No hall?
A player's forces are
Ah, he has no hall. Yep.
Yeah.
For Qwest, it would be nice if zTsoso would leave because it looks like he has the least gold because he has no expos.
Wow, yeah, and zTsoso is on 2 food. That's, and both workers that are alive are building like the
Yeah.
same building here.
And they are getting targeted soon, I guess.
Yeah, so those, like, that's
Ooh, the one person tries to get
Yeah.
away.
the great escape here.
Will it work?
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Ooh.
The future of humanity.
Wow, he's escaping.
Oh,
Yeah, but I think he might be leaving here.
a town is under siege.
And
ah, now he finds him, maybe.
yeah, he does. Ooh.
Yes.
No.
No?
What? Well, I guess he just checked the market and
Yeah.
then didn't see it. Wow, that's a brave peasant.
Yeah, where to go from here, though? One supply.
Yeah.
A town
Like
is
at this kind of stage, it's always a question, right? Do you just leave or do you? I mean, we've seen players come back from way worse position. He
Yeah,
has
no,
a lot of
I would
gold
not
still.
leave.
A
I
player's
would not
forces
leave,
are under attack.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you can just wait a bit until everything calms down, and then you try
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get
exactly.
another town hall at maybe one farther north. But you need to have some endurance to do that. Like you need to be willing to, like you will not win the game within the next 45 minutes. So I don't think he, like if he stays, he has to stay. Like he has only a chance if this game lasts another 1.5 to 2 hours, I would say, in order to rebuild.
Yeah.
And
He's also totally blind, so he doesn't know when to move out and where to go.
Qwest is taking the fight here against Jaod. Interesting.
Yeah, but Jaod not having the army.
Yeah.
The correct one.
Seksi is in a great spot, I would say, unless they start to team him because of his levels. And his Blade Master is super stacked. Like, look at this Blade Master, it's insane.
Yeah, wow. Blade Storm even? Wow. On 50.
I think Seksi's playing, like, he's playing great, but he's, I think he's super pushy here with, with the position he's in. Like, if I had his hero levels, I would make sure to stay under the radar if I wanted to hold down 50 supply.
Yeah.
A player's forces are under attack.
I like to see Seksi playing Orc here. I really enjoy watching Orc much more than I watch like a second undead in the game. What was that? That was Qwest failed hard. He used the coil before dropping the Infernal.
Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, and it seems the other game is over already. At least Dennis is raiding this stream. Match 8 was played on Silver Pine Forest, so at first I was considering to stream that just because it's a smaller map, but couldn't resist to watch this cast here.
Interesting, yeah. I mean, we had 2 solo players in the game, so maybe they had some big aggression early on.
And there goes zTsoso, so GG. Tough one. Yeah, I guess the lumber management was ultimately what
Town is under siege.
made this a very hard engagement, or made this very hard for him to win. I think if he had gotten a bit more lumber, I think he definitely had a shot. But also I think especially as a human player who hasn't played a lot in forever, it's like even harder than for players of other races, because the human meta has changed so much, because all of the buffs and nerfs in recent years. I think it's like much easier to, because like nothing changed if you're an elf player, basically nothing changed if you're an undead player, and for Auric,
What were the major changes? The tank?
yeah, I mean tank,
Agree?
nerf, gyro buff, the tinker buff. I mean, in this case he didn't face a tinker, but if you are facing a tinker, like you can't really play what you played some years ago, right? Like you can't play just gyro stuff as easily because tinker rocks are so OP. So I think the human game is like has changed most, I would say, from all the races in recent years.
Yeah, I think what is often overlooked as a caster is in a freeway, like who has the information advantage. Like I think Qwest is obviously in the worst spot now because he doesn't know when did Seksi fight Jaod, how
Yeah.
long, what was the expo meta, like who got how many expos at what time. So it's very hard for him to judge who has more gold, and for the other players that's better.
But I think if you see the main base of Jaod, I think, and if you see Seksi's levels, I think you have a pretty good idea who like won the engagements, and that in order to get to level 9 Blade Master, that they fought, or level 8, that they fought a lot.
Yeah.
A player's
It's interesting that
forces
no
are
one is
under
taking
attack.
this mine on the bottom.
Yeah, for sure. But I think almost all mines will run dry in like soonish. So I think most mines are down to, okay, this one expo here is not, but okay, another one here, but the vast majority of mines is down to like 2k.
Player's forces are under attack.
Yep.
Town is under siege.
I think Jaod is in a good spot, honestly, because he's like, he looks weak base-wise. He doesn't really have a main base, and Seksi and Qwest are probably going to fight each other for some time now. Here we see another Blade Storm in Qwest's main base.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
this must
Blade
be
Master
like
is
super
annoying.
annoying.
Totally.
Ooh. Needs
A
a TP
player's
here.
forces are under attack.
Why isn't he TP? It's so risky. Inferno? This time? Yeah.
Yep.
Well done. I'm not sure why Seksi was so greedy not to TP out when he had the chance to.
Yeah, Seksi is still the most gold. But he's still on 50. Like Qwest is on 80, and no one called Seksi out for being 50. It's
Yeah,
not great
I
for
think
him.
he should. I guess he should not be on 50 anymore. I mean, he has only one mine, and that mine is below 1,000. So I think at this stage, if you're that active, maybe you should. I don't know. You should get some units. He does it now. Okay, he's getting some bets. Enough fire. Let's see how quickly he burns through that gold with bets. But Qwest is approaching him, and let's see if he's going to kill Jaod's Expo here in the bottom. I'm not sure. I guess he might. Yeah, he will. He isn't. Okay, interesting. I think he. Ooh, interesting. Is Jaod going to attack now in return, or isn't he? Thanks for the feedback on the sound. Yeah, and just for all the viewers, I set up the stream on so short notice, so I don't have any overlays prepared. I thought we go with like very classic, basic, no overlay. And also unfortunately, we had to remove the observer board from our map files in order to get like zoom installed.
Oh, this TP is painful.
Yeah, I'm not sure why Jaod would attack there.
Yeah.
He's still mining. I mean, he's mining everywhere, and Qwest just left alone his expo here in the bottom. So why would you attack? Like now, Qwest has the perfect excuse to just kill off. Interesting.
And it's still more like Jaod plus Seksi versus Qwest, even though Seksi is on 50.
I think that could be like it's the perfect position for Seksi, although he's annoying Qwest for some time now.
A town is under siege.
And that's also always nice not to forget. And yeah, it's so easy to forget this as another player to kill off the bases from leaving players if there's an Alchemy game.
Yeah.
As well as with the transmute of the
Yeah,
Alchemist. You
so
can
much-
also transmute so much.
So
from
much
leaving
gold
players.
if you pillage an entire main base or half a main base over time. Blade Master just got level 9 here, and Qwest is, I think, undecided if he wants to attack the main base or if he wants to. Ooh! He's catching 3 bats off guard, and Seksi has to. Yeah, I mean, Seksi will be able to defend this with all the towers, but.
And Jaod's still attacking Qwest. It's a little bit reminiscent of the game with Gradient, where the 50 supply guy is untouched with the highest heroes even here. But now Qwest goes for it finally.
Yeah.
And now it's not that easy for
Yeah,
for
he needs
Seksi
a
to
lot of
defend
bats
this.
to fight this. Like that's a disadvantage, right? That with, unlike the fight he took earlier against the Griffins, here like he can't really go for Wyverns any longer because the undead heroes are so strong and Gargs are like, much better against air. So he has to go for bats. And that's like the best way to burn your gold quite quickly if you go for bats. And especially if Qwest manages to Stormform them in time, I think it's... This is where Orc, despite... And that's why, like, so often people say, like, that people that do not follow FFA as frequently, they say, yeah, Orc is by far the strongest race because they have been demolished by Orc heroes, high-level Orc heroes, over and over. But this is where Orc is so tricky to play, right? Because even the highest hero levels are often, and we see Jaod feeding another few units here, even the highest Orc heroes are having a hard time against like huge air armies and high-level enemy heroes, because like bats are your only shot to really fight air, and bats are so not cost efficient, and it's so risky to play them because you can easily lose them against AoE, or if you're like not watching them for a second.
Yeah, exactly. That's why it's so great for Seksi that he got the mining on 50, so he can afford more bets for the rest of the game.
And
let's see, the Blade Master is not going to buy it, I guess. Why isn't he TPing? I don't get this.
Yeah, but the Infernal is still on cooldown, so he can still get away with the Invul, I think, even.
Is it though? I think it's not going to be on cooldown for that much longer.
A town is under siege.
Isn't it like instantly, like when the Infernal runs out of time, you can respawn?
Yeah, exactly, but the Infernal is...
I think he could have slept him a couple of times more. I'm not sure.
Maybe. But yeah, he TP'd out.
Jaod is expanding all over the map with his buildings.
Qwest doesn't have a TP. Okay, he has a shop here. Never mind.
A town is under siege.
And Katka's pipe, so valuable here.
Yeah, also I think it's so sick how much mana the Dreadlord has. Even without dependence, Dreadlord always has such a high mana pool.
Yeah, but especially with it.
For being a strength hero.
Yeah, it's insane. 785 mana. It's... Yeah.
I mean, you see the level 8 Lich has like intelligence of 43 and the Dreadlord has 37, so...
Interesting, yeah.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, you're right.
A town is under siege.
I think it's pretty risky, honestly, for Seksi to... Like, if he stays back and Jaod is just continuing to attack over and over with his armies, he's running at risk to that Qwest will just be fed more and more here.
Yeah,
Do you
I
think
mean,
Seksi
are these hero levels even important now?
Yeah, I guess not. 888. I mean, with feeding, I mean more that like you allow Qwest to kill stuff without losing a lot of gold. Because Qwest hasn't spent any gold basically since he got his armies. Like, he hasn't lost much. And also he looks like, you could argue, okay, he got teamed for some time now, so he could pretend to be like weak in terms of gold. And I mean, 12.5k is not as much as we saw in Gradient's bank some days ago. So 12.5k can vanish quickly. It's not like 30k. And we see a mass TP probably into the main base of Qwest here.
A town is under
Yeah, the
siege.
question is he going to defend or is he trying to let his base die, as both are pretty hard on him
he
anyway?
can't. I don't think he can let his base die. Did he see the panda? Is there a shade somewhere here? Because he's moving back.
Maybe check the marketplace. But yeah, Master P is here.
I don't really see why Jaod would be investing like that much effort and resources into this, but I guess he's just underestimating Seksi's strength, I guess.
Yeah, and I think he also still needs hero levels. The human hero, every level is pretty much valuable.
Yeah. He's only feeding here. I mean, he killed a few buildings, but here.
And the panda is also
Oh, and the
left
panda.
behind. But I don't think you can get...
They should use the ultimate now. Yeah. But I guess Qwest might be smart enough to like follow the Earth Panda and just to
Yeah,
kill
but
it.
the paladin with the staff should arrive in time.
You sure he's not moving?
Okay, yeah, he could arrive in time, I guess.
I'm always surprised how few people seem to know that it's always the Earth Panda. Like, I can't count how often I have gotten away with the Earth Panda.
Yeah. What I'm always shocked about as well is even Todd doesn't notice, it seems, that you have to target the shadows of air units with spells and not the model.
Yeah.
A town is under siege. A player's forces are under attack.
Alright, Seksi here now. With 100 supply against 70. And I think Qwest was not really prepared. He was just chatting. So a lot of darks go down.
Yeah, I think Qwest needs to lose this this fight heavily in order to like. I mean, that's his only chance of stopping.
So many first Wyvern now.
Ooh, the Lich might die here. Yeah, that's just that. He's always over-exaggerating.
Yeah, I mean everyone does, and I think he's already a little bit frustrated by now. How this game is going the freeway.
Ooh, but Jaod is nicely.
A town is under siege.
So who would you bet your money on in this situation?
Honestly, still Qwest. I know that he is so strong and he now looks weaker as he might be. I'm not sure how much Jaod knows about what happened here.
Yeah.
But I mean, 13k gold, that's so much. Not sure how he
Yeah, I think it really depends on Jaod here, on his decision making. I think I would argue Seksi is in the best spot. Because it just doesn't seem as if they are stopping to team.
Yeah, Qwest is already preparing here now to lose his base. For now.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to like invest 8k gold here just to defend your main base if you know they are just going to continue pushing until. I think Jaod is pretty undecided. He's just
sure.
Here.
I mean, it's understandable. He
Yeah.
didn't see the fight and he's not sure about Qwest's gold at all.
Yeah.
Will the Lich get out? No, I think, because Seksi is now going for the
and that's bad timing for the Qwest here.
Yeah, right when Jaod left.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jaod not the best scouting here.
No. I mean, he's pretty much spread all over the map. Scouting needs here and where it would matter. In this situation, I don't like. If someone tells me that someone is in his main, I would always scout. Like I would always like one quick reveal. Yeah. It's always worth it, but
like he has even 0 arcane towers. He should at least build some at the castle.
Is he going for a reveal here, or isn't he? Let's see. Oh, I think he's going to attack Seksi now.
Yeah, I mean, Qwest will survive forever.
But I really
with
love,
cold card.
yeah, I really appreciate Zexi's playstyle, honestly, because I think if you have like as great as Qwest plays, but still I think the way they play the game would last way longer if Seksi wouldn't just always like run around and kill stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which could lose Seksi the game very quickly. I think it's not always the safest style to play, but it's definitely much better to observe this one. I have no idea what Jaod is doing. Like, he's walking around with 3 Invis heroes here. I'm like, what's he doing?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand.
But what's he searching for? Like, why wouldn't he, like...
He's so unsure what to do and who to help, and then he thinks, yeah, maybe they just kill each other off more. I only have 40 gold, so I let them kill each other first.
He got told where the action is, and even with that, he's not, like...
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, okay, he's searching for gold. Yeah, he wants some more gold, but still.
Yeah, this is always so expensive for a human player, especially in higher upkeep.
Yeah. Do you think it's a good call here by Seksi to cancel Jaod's expo? I think that could be a mistake.
I mean, he announced before he killed it that he needs one expo, and now he has a nice follow-up to justify it.
I think there was a chance for Seksi here if he had not attacked Jaod, that he could have just like tried to finish Qwest for another 10 minutes. I think now Jaod might be willing to help.
I think Jaod doesn't even know that the main base is gone.
Probably not.
Only from chats he assumes it, or he can assume.
Nice man.
How many shades are there? Yeah, it doesn't matter, I think. He can survive for 1 hour, I think, even if Seksi is just going for him.
And you're probably right.
As long as he has saplings.
Forces are under attack.
Why is he on Seksi? I don't get it. Like, he's... Ah, sorry, he is on... Sorry, no. I was just confusing the 2 players there. He killed a Great Hall, so I guess that's good.
Yeah, so hard to tell who is ahead. I mean, everyone has their advantages. Like Jaod is, as you say, in a nice position, being ignored.
I mean, Qwest has 11 million gold still, so you can, as you said, he can stay in this for long if he keeps his acolytes alive.
Yeah, like how much gold does it take to get on to the point where Seksi is at the moment from the army supply counter here for Qwest?
You mean in terms of time, or?
No, just in terms of gold, like taking, building the crypts, building the army. I think it's like 5k gold.
Yeah,
maybe.
I would have said the same, 5k.
So they are pretty much even at this point, from this perspective. And Qwest has the advantage that he looks weaker.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still very even, I would say, considering all things.
Oh, and we see finally mass TP here into the main base. So this game is nicely speeding up right now. While, yeah, what is Seksi doing? Has he a TP still? Yeah, he has 2. So nice attack here by Jaod, but he needs to get out now. I think he should have mass TP'd out right away when he saw the TP.
Yeah, again, it doesn't have a spell breaker. That's so important with this one.
It's so greedy, I feel, to stay in here against those very, very high level.
Yeah, and please use Divine Shield.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he doesn't use Divine Shield.
And that wasn't very nice and easy kill. That happened like how many times did he lose that paladin against
Yeah,
Seksi? Like
Ooh,
4 or
no.
5 times or something. It's like, I mean, I'm a really bad my micro with like with elf is already not good, but like whenever I play human in FFA, like that's the only thing I usually get to do, like using divine shield, and I only fall apart after that. But like that's because it's only like that one click and it prevents your paladin from dying like for at least like, half a fight.
Yeah, I think use divine shield and steal healing rods. That's two of the most important things for the sword.
But he killed a few buildings, and Seksi's main base is really not that strong, but we'll see.
Yeah, now they are fully 2-on-1, and Seksi is not that rich. Like 6k gold, that's pretty much nothing.
Yeah.
Especially once he loses his base, and which he, I don't think, can avoid too much longer.
Yeah, Jaod should definitely not walk across the map. I think he should maybe use a worker to maybe build some farms here across map. Is he? No, he's not happening right. No, he isn't.
Man, the sleep cooldown it's so low. It's always so frustrating.
Yeah, I think that was. I think sleep is. I mean, yeah.
50 mana and 4-second cooldown.
Yeah, nothing is ever in full balance, I think, but it's one of those spells that I feel is a bit, because it's one of those spells that is like getting, like you can't react. Sometimes you can't react as quickly, right? As this perma sleep is just stupid because you can't really do much against it. And even if you wake up a unit, like it's almost instantly getting slept again. So it's like one of those spells that feels a bit stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I still think FFA is so balanced because so many things are broken. So
yeah, I think every race has its advantages and disadvantages. I think Orc still a bit too weak lumber-wise, and human arguably have a hard time against elf, especially Tinker elves. So I think human is. Yeah, human is in a tricky spot, but also I think many humans are not playing early pushes as well as, like, if you have Neutron, for example, who played some of these rifle pushes early on. I think there's much more a human can do early on to get ahead. But yeah, late game against high level AoE heroes, human also in a tough spot if they don't have as much gold.
Exactly, yeah.
Another mass TP here, and now the Orc is at home, so interesting here. Maybe they can fight this. 2-on-1?
Yeah, they could for sure, and yeah. No way for Orc to defend this. And yeah, I think Qwest at this point has way more experience in hiding than Seksi. Like he's very strong at it. Almost Lilo style, but I still think Lilo is better.
Yeah.
It's so annoying how good Lilo is in hiding. A little bit hesitant. Like no one wants to put the hero in front. Everyone waits for the other one to put the sacrifice hero.
It's so hard against those mass griffins here. Do you think, I mean, at what point does Qwest have to be... At what point does Qwest have to be careful to not like be one-on-one against the mass human? I guess it will take a bit more time, but at some point...
Yeah, I mean the human has the building spread out pretty nicely, and they are tanky, even though they only have 2 attack upgrades, but 2 defend upgrades.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting. I have no idea.
But now Jaod needs to move in here in order to prevent Series from dying, and still no divine shield. So he's playing with fire here.
Yeah. I mean now he's better protected because the Bad Lord is here and can sleep the Great Master.
Yeah.
Yeah, Seksi has to give up his main base, and that puts him in the worst spot, I guess.
Town is under siege.
Yeah, Orc here without shop and no no mana on the SH. Really tough position here.
Yeah, maybe it's even time to hide his army. Like, there are 4 Wyvern in the back at least. Maybe they should go and hide.
But do you think, like for Orc, do you think it makes sense to hide anything but maybe like a dog and, I don't know, a Spirit Walker or something? I think it's, I don't know, like those Orc air units, they don't do shit against buildings. Like maybe one bat or
Town
what,
is under
but
siege.
I think the risk is higher that you lose all your buildings as Orc and then your supply blocked than, yeah, I don't know. Ooh.
Yeah, I have no experience playing Orc. Wow, Mass TP to help.
Ooh, there's a tank up north killing the whole of the dead.
Player's
Oh.
forces are under
Yeah, but he's busy, so he will not.
Yeah.
He might not even read the chat here. Or at least not.
Crazy how quickly a tank can kill a building with 1700 HP.
Yeah, maybe now it is time to realize what Qwest was writing. Yeah.
Now he does.
Yeah, I totally don't read chat when I fight as well. And yeah, now it's time for Qwest to
player's
rebuild.
forces are under attack.
First rebuild attempt.
The town is under siege.
Yeah. I think he has enough gold to really rebuild. I think sometimes if you only have 5k, it's like not worth it because you can get like it's not worth being targeted for a new main base. But at 12k, I think it definitely is. I wonder if it's too early though.
Yeah, I was thinking the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, who knows? Maybe they're piecing and Qwest is next, but it's unlikely that Qwest will be the next target. Everyone looks so weak now.
And I think the last mine is, yeah, it's the last mine here in the south, which is going to run dry, plus Qwest's main mine with 500 gold.
A player's
So all the
forces are
gold
under
gone
attack.
and not that much gold in the bank for either of these players. Like 11k is not bad, but so like he will go down to like 8k when fully rebuilt, I guess. So very nice game so far, I must say. Really
Yeah,
nice.
I really like it. Yeah, it's always interesting. Without peons, the armies always look like 100.
Yeah. I like how Jaod is like the only one with a significant army here for quite some time with 90 supply, but it's the only one who's not targeted at all by anyone.
Yeah, also he has the most buildings.
Yeah, most buildings mass. Like when do you ever see like a human with like 766 mass TP plus panda tanks, inner fire griffins?
Most spread out base.
Exactly, being totally overlooked and not
Town is under siege.
not attacked at all. It's rare. Yeah, and that's exactly as we said. So now Jaod will see, and Jaod never scouted the lost main base. I think, did he?
Yeah, I don't think so, right?
So I'm not sure if it's like bad or good that he may think, okay, no, you still have your main base. Maybe that's better than like having seen a totally empty main base and now like a rebuilt one.
Yeah, Qwest I kill a bit. Yeah, he sees the first time now. That is gone.
A town is under siege.
Yeah.
Relax. I wouldn't relax with like a paladin in my main base knowing that there's like a master TP right around the corner.
But he used the divine
Player's
shield for once.
forces are under attack.
How long will it take for that Halls of the Dead to kill that town hall. I mean,
Wow, 2 to 3, yeah.
3 damage per hit. So it's not taking that long, right?
5 minutes.
At most, I think less.
I think
3
180 per
to
minute.
4 minutes.
I think 180 damage per minute.
No, you're right. Yeah. That's funny.
Wow, but he has so many town halls.
Yeah, I can afford to lose one. Yeah, and now that's going to potentially work against Qwest to have rebuild.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard, like even with 11 to 12k that he had here, like sometimes if you don't do it, like you're being, sometimes people will say, yeah, okay, you should maybe spend your gold for like units instead of just hiding. But it can be as efficient to just hide with 11k, try to stay alive, and then maybe try to get some units later when you're not at risk of being teamed anymore in the stage by like 190 supply army and one orc with 73 supply and in my heroes. So
Yeah, it's always how far can you go in FFA, right? Like how long can you stay 50? How long can you wait
Yeah.
to rebuild? How long can you defend your base versus teaming and so on?
Yeah, and information is worth so much. In this case, like he's clearly exposing his goal because everyone knows like he would not rebuild an entire main base if he can't go to 100 supply in gold. So you know,
Exactly.
if he starts to rebuild his main base, he has 10k gold. So he wouldn't do that with 4 to 5k. So
Yeah.
it's I wouldn't have done it in his position, but he's the better FFA player, obviously. So he probably has thought this through, but I think it's not the right call here.
Yeah. It's so hard. I mean, it's
Yeah.
safer, but is it better? So hard to tell.
We'll see. I mean, on the plus side, Seksi has not as much gold anymore, so Qwest does not have to be afraid of bats anymore.
Yeah, and it was like 6k gold to rebuild.
Yeah.
That's always interesting to see.
A player's
Yeah,
forces are under attack.
it's a very tricky spot now for everyone. What to do?
A town
Yeah,
is under
it's
siege.
it's so annoying even the tier 2, like the hall here, because you get like every 20 seconds your town is under attack.
Yeah.
It's so annoying.
Lord, he's selling.
Yeah.
A
Yeah,
player's
everything that
forces
helps
are under
to
attack.
keep up your relationships, I guess.
Just undead things.
It will be hard for Qwest to get a hidden army this game, because this army is obviously here. Otherwise, he wouldn't rebuild, and if he loses his base one more, there's no new army.
Yeah. I think it's like if you have that hidden army and you're facing orc heroes, the orc heroes that's dangerous. I think there's such a high risk to lose a hero and then being supply blocked. So
Yeah.
yeah. Against all other races, like I still remember when I started to play FFA, I hit. I mean, of course, like the newer you are to FFA, the more likely that is your path to victory, to just hide units and be the last one with an army and then just win. But yeah, first of all, it's not that fun, and it's also very often like just a one-way road where you all of a sudden are stuck with units, but you can't rebuild your heroes. or revive your heroes.
A player's forces
Yeah,
are under
that's true.
attack.
I guess it's a good sign that no one has started to prepare an island yet.
It's a sign that the game will at least last 2 to 3 more hours, you mean?
I don't know.
If that's not even on the menu yet.
I like that Jaod spent really all of his gold into units. Like, you rarely see that. You rarely see a player at this stage without gold and with an army still.
Yeah.
Like, usually the army is the first thing you stop investing in because you know, like, it's exposable or disposable units basically, and you just you usually prefer to invest into items and buildings, and keep some gold to revive your heroes. If he's losing another paladin here, he needs to start selling items.
Okay, there is a scout from the gyro of the hidden army by Seksi.
Did you see it though?
No, not yet.
Sure.
It looked like he's going for it, but
Another gyro coming in from the left.
yeah. I mean, it's not like that it's super crazy and they will team him for that.
I mean,
It's just information. And Seksi also can't afford any more than this.
Came from behind.
Ooh, and this could be interesting if the if the army of Qwest finds the army of Seksi. So I'm not sure if Qwest is scouting for hidden armies or if he's just hiding himself.
A
But I
player's
think it looks
forces
like
are
he's
under
hiding
attack.
as the worms are still with the main, with the heroes. And the Blade Master.
Qwest has some time to think about it, I think.
Yeah.
Ooh, triple level up, triple level 9.
Wow.
When do you see that?
That's juicy.
It's so rare to see triple level up at this stage. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that triggers some action. That's nice.
Nice. Now we see. I guess we will not see that much more
Ooh,
city
they are
here.
moving. They are moving. How far are they moving there?
Jaod is in
Ooh.
such a great spot
Player's
here.
forces are under attack.
Like, being ignored, it's so nice in this situation. Being ignored despite having army and levels.
Yeah, I'm not sure though if he's in that good of a position because he's playing against two great players and
Yeah,
they don't.
if they
they
really
won't give him a free win.
Yeah, if they really continue for much longer, but if not, yeah, he's still the weakest piece here.
Okay, so Qwest is revealing his full army. 100 supply, no worker, pretty much. It's such a great army.
Town is under siege.
Yeah, and I don't think it makes sense for Seksi to use his hidden army here, so unless he's confident that he can win it, but with
Jaod knows for sure now about the hidden army, but Qwest doesn't yet.
I like how Jaod is scouting like corners and all parts of the map except the main bases. Like,
Yeah,
no.
true. Yeah, you always have to think about what you can do in a certain situation. So
Yeah,
doing nothing is most likely bad. So you rather go and cut some trees or prepare some islands or do scouting.
ooh, and Seksi is chasing the gyro here. Could turn. Okay, this is riding now. I like how Jaod is always asking, "You sure?" Like, it's I think the third time he's asking this game.
Seksi can't revive here, and I think it's. Ooh. Wow, the Blade Master is still gone.
Yeah, and he's down to just one burrow, and that burrow is going to die here, which is the last building. Okay.
Wait, where is a PM? Doesn't he have a PM?
He had a Zeppelin somewhere.
Oh, here. At his main army, there is
Ah, yeah,
two
there's
PMs.
Two. Ah, yeah, two. And wherever you can drop them, there's always already a building of Jaod.
And he's not really rich at all, so will he ever get his Blade Master back is the question. He doesn't have the gold, it seems, and the hidden army, as you said before, is blocking up all the supply.
Interesting call by Qwest here to switch focus to Jaod. I think he should finish Seksi at all costs now. I guess.
Yeah,
like with
maybe
3k gold, I think you can feel confident against Jaod. Now he's forcing Jaod into like being active.
Town is under siege.
Yeah, the Blade Master kill was huge again.
And Qwest has no acolytes out on the map. Like it's all in this one main base here. Like no acolytes, no buildings. So yeah.
Really? Wow.
There's a Zeppelin here at the south. Never mind.
Yeah,
that's it. So usually we see more at this stage.
A player's forces are under attack.
True.
I think Jaod is in a great position unless Seksi and Qwest stop teaming soon. Stop fighting soon.
Yeah, and Qwest is also out of lumber. I mean, I don't think it's a big problem for Undead, as the Necropolis are cheap. Or don't cost lumber.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to get anything but...
A town is under siege.
Yeah, anything but main buildings anyways. Damn it, I haven't played Warcraft 3 in that long. Like,
A player's forces are under
what was the name of a main building of Undead?
Necropolis.
Necropolis, thanks.
Yeah, very interesting game. It looked like there would be a lot of sitting, but then the Blade Master kill plus the immediate follow-up sped things up quite heavily.
It's so dangerous here by Jaod to mass TP in without Seksi. Might shoot maybe this time?
Wow, 2 armies now against Qwest though. No Blade Master, but still very scary. And if Qwest loses this base, he is pretty much dry in terms of buildings.
Another feta stomp. And it's so hard to micro tanks here, and
yeah,
I think he should just send his tanks to Qwest's main base. Ooh, and the betting, really nice.
Yep,
That was
very heavy betting.
15 supply on here for Qwest.
Yeah, Qwest can't rebuild his army as he is broken wood.
Yeah, Jaod is in a great spot if he doesn't lose a hero here.
Yeah, and it's so hard not to decide on the fly what to do. Like, do you really go on and kill Qwest, or do you switch target, do you offer peace? It's so stressful.
Yeah, I guess Seksi and Qwest both need to kill the other player, and I think have a great chance still. Seksi, Seksi
Human
only
beings are so
if he-
tanky too.
Yeah, Seksi only if I can get his Blade Master back. Without the Blade Master, I think Seksi has a hard time. So I guess Seksi also wants to continue fighting here in order to lose supply efficiently and then get his Blade Master back.
Yeah.
Or is he getting, like, he's not getting any burrows?
Town is under siege.
You pretty much see the last army of all players. That's pretty interesting. So no hiding.
Very rare that we have that. Usually it's really only Hero Arena at this point. Ooh, and the DK.
What does he have? Evil? Nice sleep on the TC.
If there was a Blade Master, like DK would be close, but...
Yeah, so maybe Seksi moved in too soon.
The healing was so valuable here.
Yeah.
Super valuable. SH out of mana though, so I think they can't stay in this for much longer. Did the Panda die?
Nope. Under the
Ah,
Griffins.
Wolf got staffed. Okay. Alright.
By the Panda.
Oh, I got staffed.
Yeah.
Back. Ooh, the DK! Has to TP here.
Wow, Qwest is playing this so well for a 2v1. It's really
Yeah.
nice.
They're having a hard time here.
Like, those are really 2 armies and 5 highlighted heroes.
Now he's moving out again. I think that's actually a bit risky here. the Panda is back, so very intense here. Oh, the DK.
Again has the TP. And yeah, now he is trying out of gold as well. But he is trying to defend at all costs. Is it possible though? Is it possible?
And now, yeah, Seksi lost his units. Now he gets his altar back. I think he should have maybe gotten it back a bit quicker. So, I mean, it will take a long time for the Blade Master to come back. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think Qwest is running out of steam here. He has to at least go back to the towers.
Village.
Yeah.
That was the second last coil, I think. But the CC dies.
Yep, that was no invul. And
Oh
no
boy. And
ult.
now it will take a long time for those, like he can revive them, he has the gold, but it will take a long time for two like level 9 and 10 heroes to get back.
Wow, what an intense game. So close and so action heavy.
Yeah, really nice game.
The names didn't disappoint.
No, certainly not. Like sometimes with Jaod, it's like Jaod has, like I've seen a lot of disappointing Jaod games in recent years. Like he was so on point of his game. Like, let's focus on this fight. Very nice call.
Which
Wow,
he missed coils. He clicked on the worm.
I was about to say, so greedy by Qwest to move out, and he will get the SH potentially.
Nope.
Also he has a TP, so that was a big mistake, I guess, to move out here and chase. Because the DK has no items, the DK is dead. Yeah, the DK will die here. Or not.
Oh, they are fast enough.
And the SH
SH has a TP.
Ooh,
The coil is enough.
Wow! Level 10.
Wow, Qwest is so good.
That was so clutch, but now, yeah, Jaod has all heroes, has most buildings.
Wait. Is the Blady already getting revived?
I think it is, yeah.
Okay, because at the moment he can't sell any items and he is on 128 gold.
I think he's sold items before.
Mm-hmm.
I think he did. The altar finished like, I don't know, 3-4 minutes ago. So I think the Blade Master could be back in a minute or two.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like, I think the Blady has to be revived, otherwise Seksi would be out.
But yeah, let's see. I think I don't know. I mean, Qwest can revive his heroes for sure, so I think it will depend on the amount of damage that Jaod can deal to Qwest's main base now.
Yeah, the Lich is already halfway there again,
Yeah.
and the DK is very low health though, so that's a problem. And still 3 heroes chasing.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that's a nice timeout to think about the situation. I think this is quite needed for the players because it's a very clutch moment in the game.
Maybe it was a tactical timeout, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't care, to be honest.
Yeah, me neither. I mean, you can't prove it anyway, so...
Yeah. But yeah, Jaod is having so many buildings spread out, and they are human buildings, and there are no armies left, so
Yeah, so
it takes so long to kill them.
Yeah, if Jaod steps up his hero micro slightly and is not letting his paladin die, I think he's in a great spot here.
Yeah.
I mean, Seksi has some very valuable items, so I think he can get back all 3 heroes. Should be.
Mm-hmm.
And Qwest also, of course, he can also sell some buildings, but it doesn't seem that the pressure on Qwest's main base is going to stop anytime soon here.
So imagine one of the players finds the altar of Seksi.
Yeah, I think that I was about to say that would be like a total game changer. I think in that case it's like...
Do you think both would kill it if they find it? Even Jaod?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't think Jaod would at this stage. I mean, he will not... I don't think he will all of a sudden move
It could be a
north
game-winning
now.
move, but it could also
Yeah.
be bad. It's
so hard to know. And I really, like, while Jaod has stuff all over the map and was Jaod scouting, I'm not sure how well he's aware of of the limited number of buildings that Seksi has.
Yeah, tense.
And here we go again.
All right.
Yeah, so the DK... I guess he should die for the DK here, or he could. Wow, he's... What the heck? He's moving out, I was about to say. Probably not. I think he should use the Panda ultimate. Potentially one more breath and Panda ultimate. Wow, he just... What did he use his... what did he sacrifice with his DK? Was it a worm or was it a Garg? I don't think he had a Garg. Did he just sacrifice a worm?
Yeah, it looks like.
Yeah, I think so too. Ah, that's a heavy price if you're not... I don't think he was forced to do it, I guess. Didn't
Okay, so Blade Master's out and he has still full inventory, and the TC is already acute, so...
Yeah, so he will get all 3 heroes back if he has some time. Very nice position, nicely positioned Alta, I think. Maybe, like, I usually prefer to hide stuff a bit closer to, like, to the center, because usually that's where, like, you want it in a location where the pathing isn't going, like, where units are not going to pass through automatically, but also not on the outside where usually scouts are being sent to scout for corners. So ideally, I guess, like you want being Seksi, I guess you would want it in a position like this here. But it's close to his old main base, so maybe not.
I just wonder, is it good to have the least buildings here, like Seksi?
If you are Orc, I guess not.
Shooting point of view, okay.
I don't know. I think it's great to have no main base. So I think Jaod is in a great spot. Like, it's great to have enough buildings to not care about one building or the other, but still don't have a main base you can get teamed for.
Yeah,
so
Qwest just did the dirty manip. I'm not sure if you realized.
No,
but
I didn't.
Qwest just told Seksi that Jaod is making an army, which we know can't be true as he is broke since the 10 to 15 minutes. And so Seksi peaced with him. So now we have finally peace for Qwest, and Jaod will be on the menu.
And we see Jaod preparing an island here in the north. Let's hope this island should not... yeah, I hope he read the 1 building per island rule. We'll see.
So Jaod saw that they pieced, but he is not moving.
A player's forces are under
Oh, he's
attack.
sending a shredder here to that... isn't he? I thought he would kill it.
So at the moment it's more like a 3-way piece.
Yeah.
I mean, for Seksi it's obvious. I mean, he needs the time perfectly too.
I think this is really, really bad for Jaod. And like, not that great for Qwest, but I guess he had no choice. But even worse for Jaod, I guess, because Seksi is like, this is, as you say, the perfect time for Seksi to get his heroes back. And also for them to scout his buildings, I guess, to realize how many buildings Jaod has. I think it's in Jaod's interest to keep the game speed up here.
Exactly. I mean, Jaod has the most buildings and also the biggest inventory. He has the full inventory on all heroes with valuable items.
I guess, who do you think has top score? Is it like Qwest or is it Seksi?
I think...
I would have said Seksi, yeah. He killed so much early on and so many heroes, but now level-wise, I don't really know anymore. Like,
yeah,
levels are... Like, the levels are higher for quests, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, also killing bases gives a lot of points.
Yeah.
Like every building you get the cost from it in points.
Yeah. Could be a really close one. And Qwest is like, how did Qwest burn through 10k gold? Like it's so, like eventually his, like he spent all this gold into army and stuff and got teamed so heavily for it, and it basically got him like plus 2 to 1 levels. So it like he made the best out of it, I think, with those worms, but I'm not sure if it paid off. I think he...
Yeah, I mean, in hindsight, it didn't pay off, but I think that he thought he could end the game with the 100 supply army.
Yeah, he
I
certainly
think
wasn't.
that was his plan.
But
And
yeah, I mean,
backup is the point where he is now.
I mean, you rarely face another 100 supply army that openly runs around at this stage. But I think when he knew that he would be facing 3 high-level orc heroes, a few orc units, and like an entire human army. So
yeah, I mean, Lelo wouldn't have rebuilt here. I think he would have hidden with 10k gold.
Yeah, it's easier for elf too, but still, like as an undead here, I don't think he would have. I mean, how many necropolises was
A player's forces are
where
under
that could have
50.
built a lot. And now Qwest saw those orc heroes here in the left. So I think he has an idea now where the altar is, so might be a bit tricky for Seksi. Has he a radar somewhere still? I don't think so, right? No, not in the Zeppelin. He
Maybe
could
in the
pillage some more
The town is under siege.
if he had one, but he has no.
No, he doesn't.
And Qwest is attacking Jaod's buildings here, and Seksi is also. So are they going to team Jaod now? Interesting. Very, very interesting.
But yeah, I mean, that's of course forcing a counter reaction. So Seksi is losing more buildings, of which he doesn't have a lot.
Yeah.
The town is under siege.
It's interesting, like by Seksi to peace with Qwest, and now to to argue that you want to see Qwest dead. Like there are some players that that we saw over the years in FFA that would have definitely considered to kill someone just for those kind of arguments.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, does Seksi and Qwest have some kind of feud, like
No.
Eshon and
The
Seksi?
town is under siege.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't think Qwest has many foods at all. I mean, Qwest and Ishan are not, I guess. Yeah, it's in-game they... Yeah, Qwest... I mean, Qwest in some cases, because I think there was this one game or even 2 games in previous seasons where Qwest killed Ishan early on, just rushed him.
Oh, and that's the last haul.
What do you say?
Player's forces are
That is
under
the last great haul from Seksi.
Yeah, you're right.
And he is really
He
broke.
has some very valuable items still. But why is Qwest attack? Yeah. Qwest is now changing. Is he? Yeah. Ooh, interesting here. I think Qwest took that comment personally here by Seksi. Interesting. So who's going to win this fight? With the worms, I guess it's definitely going to be Qwest. So
The Infernal is of cooldown too, so yeah, the heroes have to be
the
careful.
TC will die here, I guess.
Yeah.
The SH is way off.
And is there a mass TP in place for Jaod to go on Qwest? Not really. And now the TC is bad for real.
dead.
It's another gold, and he has the supply block, so he needs
Ooh,
to
he
go.
passed an info. But now the
Yeah,
Blade
but this is
Master
not gonna work out.
Wow,
This is not
if
gonna
those heroes survive, like that would be insane. But they won't.
But now the human army is ooh, the TC. Yeah.
And now the Blade Master might die also, and he can't TP.
He can't TP, no.
Ooh.
Oh, the mirror image.
Wow, the
Wow,
shade.
what a reaction. But Jaod now at Qwest, and Qwest doesn't have a hidden building.
And the shade is such a valuable unit here. Blade Master dead, and only
Wow,
the
Jaod
SH.
might win this. Oh, but he doesn't have the tanks with him, so he has to go away.
nicely. This time, like, very nicely getting out of there.
So what does Seksi have left? He has to sell everything now. He has to build a borrow.
Under attack.
So that is gonna be his last revives, it seems.
I mean, he could sacrifice, like, he has some units that he really doesn't need anymore. So I think he should get rid of the Kodo and the Wind Rider. Like, what's that going to do for him? He should have done that way earlier, I think.
And Jaod still has so many buildings, so that's...
Yeah, it's in a good
Nice.
position, but I can't see him losing a hero or two, and then it's not going to matter. So I think Qwest is in a good position if he, like, it's really tricky for Qwest to have the human entirely cross map here. Oh, and Seksi is revealed. That's it.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah,
Did he
I forgot.
this?
I mean,
A player's forces are under attack.
yeah, he's getting another borrow in the north, but that's not going to matter.
Yeah.
So he really needed a great
It's
hold.
not here, but...
Yeah, he
now
needed a great
Jaod
hold,
goes
but
on Qwest, though.
yeah, but then he had no money, no gold left for the revive, so... And there, Jaod moves back in here. Where are the tanks? Why isn't he using the tanks?
No TP for Qwest. Yeah, the tanks could have been game winning here in the fight.
There's not many buildings here for Qwest, but... Divine Shield? Hello?
He doesn't like Divine Shield. No, finally. Death.
TP? It's not going to work. Like, why wouldn't you TP out?
Yeah, it's so greedy. That's so greedy. Okay, yeah.
It's so costly. Like, it's not many buildings, but it's 6 buildings, and especially like the graveyard has so much HP here, 900. Oh no,
We're finally at 10-10-10 for Qwest.
Yeah. I think Qwest wins this over time. He can just stay home and send his Infernal until all of the buildings are gone. Wow, another altar. Wow. Like how much can he get his... I don't know. Does he need an item from Jaod, or can he get it back? Like, how much is it? No, he can get 1 hero back, and then he can sell more items, I guess.
Yeah.
Like 1 parry plus
That's the
200
best thing he
gold.
can do, but he has to survive because he's revealed.
Yeah, but that's why I think it's wise to... Why isn't he selling his items first? I don't get it.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, 583, that should get him back one hero.
A town is under siege.
Seksi, you okay? Is revealed with 3 buildings. And he's reviving his Blade Master, but the Infernal is moving across the map. Ooh!
Wow, is he really spot on?
Yeah, really nicely done by Qwest. I mean, I guess if you see it revealed on the map, it's not that hard, right?
Ah, true, he's revealed. Lord.
But still, I
So
mean,
bad.
Seksi should have written to Jaod instantly. Like, he should write to Jaod now to move north. Or to move. Because that altar is never going to get through here.
No, it can't survive, right? And now what?
Yeah, and he lost the peon too, right? He has another peon, I
A
guess,
player's
somewhere.
forces are under attack.
No? He had one somewhere.
Wait, so 5, 7, 9 supply? Where's the rest?
Oh no. Did he kill his own peon? Like, there was one peon just killed by the Infernal, but where, he had a second one. Okay, I don't think he has a chance anymore.
Yeah, he has 13 supply exactly with what he has here. Yep, that's it for him. So, I mean, in theory, everything is possible here with mass TP versus so few buildings, with so many buildings, but
I
the
don't
Infernal
think
is
it
very
is.
nice.
He will lose at least 2 units every time he attacks, and I mean, with a Panda ultimate, that's, I think, if he uses that one wisely, he should use it and then only walk in with the non-earth ones. and he can
Yeah.
get off some damage every time, but I don't see Jaod doing
Divine Shield, Divine Shield, Divine Shield, Divine Shield. Divine Shield.
so greedy.
Alright, but he's
He's-
careful now with Divine Shield.
Didn't expect, yeah, I guess with the Panda ultimate, but
Yeah, the Griffins though.
it's greedy by Jaod to like take a fight here instead of just playing the safe game with like his number of buildings.
Seksi is out, and Jaod is not using any steps on the Griffins, and
Jaod will use this.
not even in the tanks. Wow, that's greedy.
And he has no TP. What?
Oh, the Pella will die. It's
Yeah,
out of
this is
range.
it.
The mass
This
TP range is so small.
I think
I mean,
Jaod
that was-
could have easily won this, not easily maybe, but he could have won this with a clever Mass TP, Panda ultimate,
Oh, the Panda's
over
always
time.
here. Yeah,
Player's
just more
forces are under
patience.
attack.
Oh, anti-Mass TP is back
Mass
in. Did he get a
TP?
TP? Or what? No.
He needs to step out the Paladin and then TP. Oh, he doesn't have a TP though.
No,
What?
no, still not. Now
So
he's
he's
going
just
for
gambling on the
buildings and
last
there's no
buildings.
more mana on the Dreadlord.
No.
Imagine he wins this. I don't think he can, but... Step out, step out, step out. I think even if he had stepped out the Panda just now, I think he had a chance still.
Yeah.
Wow, 2 buildings Qwest. Well
Ooh.
played.
Let's
That
see
was
this top score.
Yeah, Qwest at this stage, but Seksi was close. I think like until 20 minutes before the end, I think Seksi had a good shot until he lost everything.
I mean, in theory, everyone had a good chance. Jaod, I think, too unexperienced with human.
Yeah, for
Seeing
sure.
the Pella, seeing the staff usage, seeing the Panda.
And also too inexperienced in base race, I guess. I mean, I don't know when Jaod has played a long FFA with base race the last time, so...
Yeah,
Wow, very nice game.
it was amazing. Yeah,
Thanks.
it was
Yeah, thanks for
almost 2 hours.
casting this
Nice
with me.
length.
I was afraid to be on my own here. So this was the second last game of the first round. One more game next week, I think in 4 days, and then we will go right into round 2. I think we will have 4 rounds this season, and I still have to announce it, and then playoffs, and yeah, the games will be streamed by, most of the games will be streamed by Dennis, I guess. Some hopefully by Back to Warcraft, and then yeah, maybe I'm going to stream a few more here. So
I mean,
yeah.
in theory, we could even cast the other game, because I think we would get a host. And it was very short. It was not even an hour, I think. I'm not sure if
You-
we still
you
have
mean
time.
replay casting?
Spontaneous. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
I think I need to.
things
I need to. One is enough for now.
okay. I'm fine.
But yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and have a good night.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.